The Salem Witch Trials. A barbaric display of animalistic and depraved emotions. We disassociate with said trials, but they are not a thing of the past. In Africa and Indonesia, these practices are still happening. Today I ask myself, are witch trials happening today for the same reason? And does the Puritan mindset still persist in the world? First, let's look at an article by Discovery News, published late 2014. The article states 7 people in the East African country of Tanzania were killed earlier this week following accusations of witchcraft. Then they link to a report made by Mail and Guardian, a local African news source. The article talks about how the 7 killed were all over 40 in age, and that the Legal and Human Rights Center, the LHRC, claims that about 500 witches are killed a year. They were killed as retaliation for the death of albinos. A man named Sapa states, "In Tanzania, albinos are killed and dismembered because of a widespread belief that charms made from their body parts bring good fortune and prosperity." Now, back to the Discovery News article, it continues with, "Throughout Africa, the belief in witches is common, and black magic is considered a normal part of everyday life." A 2010 poll of 18 countries in sub-Saharan Africa found that over the population in all these countries believe in magic, with large amounts of the population believing that albino bones are magic and that the bone marrow cures cancer and other diseases. And with them believing that curses and magic are real, it is clear why witch hunts and moody murders, the murder of albino and children for their body parts, are common and plague Africa as much as they do. The article then links to another article by the same author, Benjamin Radford, about how an albino woman that was killed for her body parts in Tanzania. 2 people had cut off her left leg and 3 of her fingers. These witch doctors do moody murders to strengthen their moody magic, a magic similar to voodoo, prompting the villagers to go on a witch hunt for the killers, often killing elderly that had nothing to do with it. The article goes on to talk about the origin of the word witch, which we should not be talking about. It is clear that witch hunts in Africa are different in motivation, and that in Africa they have been happening for hundreds of years. But witchcraft was legal until very recently in Tanzania. In February 2015, Jane Fadi Bayakra was killed by over 200 of her fellow villagers with axes and machetes as retaliation for the death of albinos. Are you seeing a pattern yet? And they think the government is in on the witchcraft, even though witchcraft is banned by the government. The article goes on to talk about how the police are too thinly spread and cannot deal with it. Next, let's go to Saudi Arabia, where 40 guest workers will be put to death for witchcraft early 2014, and at this point they are dead. This is common in Saudi Arabia. The Daily Beast, the news source I'll be linking, the source explains that in 2012, 215 supposed witches were charged and put to death, and that in 2011, over 600 people were charged with witchcraft. It goes on to state how Saudi Arabia planned to expand the religious courts that hold these trials to expand the evidence of witchcraft to their Twitter accounts. The second half of the article is about how Saudi Arabia is a Wahhabi fascist fundamentalist nation, and that 2/3 of the workers are foreigners, while the native population has extremely high unemployment rates. Another news source reports how the CPVPV, the religious police of Saudi Arabia, are capturing accused witches. This is as in the story of a woman in the city of Mahadana, in which she had her house broken into. She comically jumps out the window when the CPVPV step back outside to let her put clothes on. She was captured after she was injured from jumping out of said window. Then the article explains the gruesome fate of another poor soul, an Egyptian pharmacist named Mustafa Ibrahim. He was decapitated for witchcraft. I think at this point, my point has been made. Witch hunts are still around, and in some places like Tanzania, it is illegal, but the black market that kills albinos and children angers the villagers. And this anger makes the villagers, well, not makes them, but makes it so they want to kill witches. And there are places like Saudi Arabia where there is a special police force around to specifically deal with the unholy acts they are charged with. All the links will be left in the description. Thank you.